this might very well be the nail in the coffin for Xbox consoles, whatever the case may be. I just feel like this is definitely not good news. And, again, this is something like we haven't really seen before. It's going to be very interesting to see how fans react to this. I do want to get into it, though. Should be a fun conversation. Should be a fun video. What's up, everybody? I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews. And you know what? I'm really happy that you guys are joining me. Thank you guys so much. And again, we have no real way of knowing exactly what will happen. But, I do find this to be sort of interesting. And like I said, should be make an interesting video as well. So yeah, I'm very thankful that you guys are here. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Sea of Thieves has reportedly surpassed 1 million sales on PS5. It was released back in April, so 4 months later. It's topped 1 million sales on PlayStation 5. According to Windows Central sources, the Rare-developed game hit the significant sales milestone on Sony's console some time ago. While Xbox hasn't announced sales figure for the game on PS5, there's been plenty of evidence to suggest that the $40 title has performed strongly since its release in April. According to Sony, Sea of Thieves was the most downloaded PS5 game in both the US and Canada. In Europe in May and June, it ranked among the top 5 downloaded games. In July, it remained in the top 10. The pirate-themed co-op multiplayer game was originally released for Xbox One and PC in March of 2018, when it became the first exclusive title for Microsoft to launch on Xbox Game Pass day and date with its retail release. Now, ahead of the game's PS5 release, Rare said Sea of Thieves had been played by over 40 million people. On Tuesday, Xbox confirmed Machine Games' Indiana Jones title will be coming to PS5 next year after its initial release for Xbox this December. Indiana Jones is the latest first-party game to be confirmed for PlayStation 5, following 4 initial multi-platform releases earlier this year and the announcement of Doom Dark Ages in June. Following Indiana Jones' announcement, Microsoft's head of gaming suggested it made business sense to bring more Xbox titles to other console platforms. Going to PlayStation announcement, obviously last spring we launched 4 games, 2 of them on Switch, 4 on PlayStation, and we said we're going to learn. I think at the showcase I might have said that from our learning we're going to do more. What I see when I look at our franchises are getting stronger. Our Xbox console players this year are as high as they've ever been. So that's basically Phil Spencer's nonsense, when he continues to talk about this kind of nonsense, to kind of get people to be okay with this, right? And here's the thing. It's not about putting games on other things, but I guess if you really want to get kind of technical about it, I fully believe that the success of Sea of Thieves, which again, I don't even know how successful that is. I mean, you could sit there and go, oh, well, it made $40 million or whatever. That's not that cut and dry. Sony gets 30% of that cut. You got to take away the marketing. You got to take away the port studios cut. All that stuff has to be taken into consideration. And so when you think about it, how much did they actually really make? Maybe 10 million, maybe less. I don't really know. But people are saying that it's a successful launch. And, with that being said, I'm kind of looking at this and going, well, realistically, what else does Microsoft have that could do something like that? Like, I feel like that was a successful quote unquote launch on PlayStation, due to a situation with there not being a whole hell of a lot out at that time, right? Like, this year has been, I hate to say it, but kind of dry of good games. Like, we haven't really seen that much in terms of good games. And, it's so funny to me when people try to say, oh, well, there's been really good games here or there, but honestly, where? Like, I haven't seen any, but I do really think that the fact that Sea of Thieves has passed 1 million, maybe 1.5 million. Who knows? It could have even passed 2 million in sales. And, again, we're sort of living in this world where we don't really know. And is that really a good thing? I mean, listen, us Xbox fans, if we bought it, paid $60 for it with no content. PlayStation fans get, all the content and all the fixes and all that kind of stuff. They get a almost 90 rated game. We Xbox fans got a 60 something rated game. So I think that really has to go with a lot of how people look at this stuff. And to be honest with you, It's really crazy to think that, Microsoft is this kind of ignorant, considering they're, a multiple trillion-dollar company. It's really a sad state of affairs at this particular point, that this is happening, and realistically, honestly, I'm kind of shocked that this has kind of been able to happen, But anyway, bravo to PlayStation for being able to get out there and kind of get these big announcements and things. Who knew that this would be a thing back in the day? But now, obviously, it is kind of a big deal, that they're getting Xbox games. I would have never thought that that was possible. Now here we are, and we see that not only is it possible, but we don't know what games are going to go to. We don't know what games are going to go to what, right? Is Gears, like, nothing was labeled as exclusive, and even if it was, it doesn't matter because, to be honest with you, Indiana Jones was labeled as an exclusive, and we know that that game is, definitely multi-platform, and we know that Doom is multi-platform, and we know that this other game is multi-platform. We know that everything is multi-platform at this particular point. It's like just so ridiculous that that this keeps happening to us, and as fans, I think we've got to be able to look at this and go, why is Sony completely owning everything? Why is Sony destroying Xbox? I mean, Xbox has lost their way, and they've lost the fans. Like, even a lot of the hardcore fans are having a hard time covering for a lot of these moves. Like, I mentioned this in another video, but it's like, they are trying to cope, I think, in a way. And like, how can you trust it? It's like, okay, so, and I've seen a couple other people make this point, and it's a fair point. So Microsoft will make more money, up front, right? Obviously, but at what point do they go, okay, well, our money's in the publishing side of things, not the hardware side of things? And they're already kind of letting things go with Xbox, right? Like, they come out with this quote-unquote most powerful console, and that sounds good, it looks good, but has it really lived up to that billing this generation? No. It should be running circles around the PlayStation 5, and it hasn't. Reason being is, if you're a developer, are you going to really go all out and worry about Xbox, or are you going to make sure that your game runs great on the console that's actually in people's houses, right? So again, you really kind of have to look at what's happening and like shake your head a bit and say, well, you know what, this is kind of crazy, but Microsoft is definitely in a rough spot, and part of that is to Sony. Sony has put so much pressure. Like, who would have thought that Sony, a company that realistically is a pissant sized company compared to Microsoft, and they absolutely stonewalled Xbox and Microsoft. Like, this $2 trillion company could not get a foothold. Like, wow, it's really a situation where you have to kind of question what's going on, and it's so crazy to me that this is happening. Sony out here doing absolutely nothing, and yet they are 100% winning everything, selling left and right. I'm sure the PS5 Pro is going to absolutely destroy and be incredibly well received. But again, when I'm looking at kind of what's going on, I'm just saying to myself, man, Sony really kind of nailed that whole thing, because, with Sea of Thieves doing so well, that's going to assuredly mean that more, if not all, Xbox exclusives end up on PlayStation, which I think will ultimately lead to the death of Xbox, because let's just be real, at a particular point, people are going to come into, like, say, next generation, and they're going to go, well, people like me that would buy both, right? And they're going to go, well, should I buy both still, or just buy a PlayStation? Because most of these Xbox games, if not all, are going to also go to PlayStation. I think it's a fair point to make. But how do you guys feel about this, knowing that it's one of those things that realistically keeps happening, and I don't know what Microsoft can do about it, to be quite frank about it. Like, I don't think that trust can ever be brought back there, honestly. And to be clear, it's really sad as an Xbox fan to see the degradation of the Xbox platform. So I hope that there's something can happen. I just am not sure that there's anything that can help Xbox at this point. Anyway, thanks for watching. Rack 'em up. Crep Gamer out.